good evening, everyone. Or good late Friday evening, I should say. This is Jacob Mountain, live here of the West Michigan weather. And the National Weather Service in northern Indiana has issued a severe thunderstorm warning that does include southwestern portions of Berrien County in our coverage area. This severe thunderstorm warning is going for the next hour or so until 12:30 a.m. That would be on Saturday morning, and this is primarily for the potential of 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Although we do also have the tornado possible tag on this, as I'm trying to highlight here. That means we are watching some signs of rotation within this line that could potentially produce a brief spin-up tornado. We're not at the point of a tornado warning yet, but it is being monitored. There is tornado warnings near Gary, Indiana, and that is why we have the tornado possible tag. This is actually relatively decent advance warning from the National Weather Service in northern Indiana, as our main line of storms that is concerning is still crossing the Illinois-Indiana state line. But with the speed these storms are moving at 55 miles per hour, it won't take too particularly long for these storms to arrive. So again, locations in this severe thunderstorm warning, again, in our coverage area, it's only the far southwestern portions of Branch County, so areas like Bridgman, the New Troy community, Free Oaks, and New Buffalo Township, along with Grand Beach. If you're near any of these areas, you are in this severe thunderstorm warning, and what you should do with that is you should be heading indoors right now, preferably into that sturdy structure on the lowest floor, and be alert for the potential of a brief spin-up tornado. And if that does occur, then you'll want to take your tornado precautions. So I would be nearby your tornado shelter location just in case. But again, our main area of concern is still this line near the Illinois-Indiana state line. And it will take a little bit of time, but not too awfully long, for these storms to arrive with its easterly movement at 55 miles per hour. So again, we're going to go to the Chicago radar, take a look at this. As you can see, our concerns was this bowing segment of the line. In fact, we do have a tornado warning near Gary, Indiana. See how it's one of those areas where it's kind of rotating. I can pull up my radar overlays and kind of go to velocity real quickly on this, and as you can see, you can see how it's kind of a broader rotation, but it is there. We actually have some airport radars near Chicago we can look at as well, and again, and see how it's kind of rotating here, these little kinks along the line that rotate. That is our concern for the potential of a brief spin-up tornado, is these kinks along the leading edge of the line. That's where you can get little areas of spin, and they could even produce at least enhanced areas of damaging straight line winds, if not brief spin-up tornadoes. And that is our concern with this line as it continues to move off to the east at around 55 miles per hour. So I'm going to track this out. Our section of the line that is going to be most concerning for portions of Berrien County. We'll up the storm motion of that to 55 miles per hour based on the warning text from northern Indiana. And that's going to take it into the New Buffalo Township area. It looks like it's going to be about 45 minutes ahead of this line of storms that has the potential to produce 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and a brief spin-up tornado. The New Troy area in about 58 minutes. The Galion area in about 59 minutes. The Bridgman area also in 59 minutes. And then South Bend and Sodus, South Bend, Indiana, and the Sodus area in a little more than an hour as well. So again, This is a more of an advanced warning type situation as these storms approach. We are watching other storms further to the north of this, over Lake Michigan, that could eventually make it further to the north than Berrien County. So heads up potentially for portions of Van Buren and maybe Allegan County down the line if this section of the line holds together. I could see at least special weather statements being issued for this, if not severe thunderstorm warnings. This would primarily be for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. I will say our marine warnings ahead of this. Carly is asking, is Dowagiac looking at the kink possibly hitting us? I'm so tired of these late night storms. First off, I can understand the whole thing about these late night storms. It's been a lot of late nights across West Michigan this past week. Unfortunately, this is the last one, I will say. After tonight, I'm not really seeing any potential for severe level weather in the foreseeable future that we should really pay attention to. So hopefully that will be some good news. And in terms of your Dowagiac looking at that kink possibly hitting us, well, it's possible. I do think the better potential, unfortunately, you are in the tornado watch, and that has been our area of most concern for severe weather tonight, has been the southwest Michigan area, just where there's a little bit more in the way of surface instability for these storms to work with, and with the strong low-level wind shear overhead. That is causing a little bit of concern for damaging winds and maybe the brief spin-up tornado. So if you are there, I would just be alert. You're not under any warnings right now, but just be alert for the possibility of warnings and be ready to take action if a warning is issued for your area there. We'll be watching that over the next little while as these storms continue to move off to the east. And then further north of this section of the line, so for this section of the line, heads up for areas like South Haven, St. Joseph, the Hartford area as well, maybe Ganges as well, Douglas as well, areas along the lake shore and into Allegan and Van Buren counties. We are watching this portion of the line as well for the potential of some headlines as it continues to move on shore over the next, again, hour or two is when we're expecting it. If you're in the Muskegon, Grand Haven, Bridgeton, Fremont areas, these are some noisy thunderstorms, but these are not severe, and we're not really expecting them to become severe. We'll take a look at velocity, though, and we are seeing some signs of potentially some sub-severe wind gusts on the order of 30 to maybe 40 miles per hour. Within this section of the line, but this is not really expected to be severe, I do not think. We just don't really have the surface instability for these storms to work with, and that's only expected to dwindle throughout the rest of the tonight. So I do think any severe threat tonight across our region is going to be very brief in nature, probably on the order of only a couple of hours, and then we'll just have our garden variety thunderstorms the rest of the night. So maybe some loud thunder, but not. I really do think our severe threat is going to decrease quickly with time as these storms continue to move east across the area. So again, if you are just joining us here, we have a severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect for southwestern portions of Berrien County that is going until 12:30 a.m. tonight. This is primarily for the concern of damaging wind gusts up to around 60 miles per hour. They do also have the tornado possible tag on it for the potential of a brief spin-up tornado. That's just a lot of that is considering the history of this storm, this line of storms as it moved through Illinois. It was producing quite a few spin-up tornadoes near and west of the Chicago area. So just considering the history of these storms, kind of erring on the side of caution with these warnings. And again, if you are in Berrien and Cass counties, you do also remain under a tornado watch for the next few hours till around 3 a.m. At which point, and I do not personally expect any watches to be extended north of there. or east of there necessarily. I really think it's going to be limited to that in terms of severe watches. But if you are up to around the I-96 corridor, especially south of Grand Rapids, I would just be alert for the potential of an isolated of special weather statements, or perhaps an isolated severe thunderstorm warning. Our main concern there would be 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. But again, with the low-level shear overhead, we will have to kind of watch any kinks that develop in the line. It could produce an isolated brief spin-up tornado. But again, as we get further east, once you get east of 131, I do think that threat's going to quickly drop off. So again, let me read the warning text. Severe thunderstorms are located along a line extending from Roseland to near Kentland. This was as of the 11:36 p.m. update. This is when the warning was issued. Moving off to the east at around 55 miles per hour. So we are watching this northern section of the line as well. We're on the Grand Rapids radar right now. And you can see how it's kind of bowing a little bit. We'll take a look at velocities. Keep in mind, this is looking a little bit higher up. So is this reaching the surface? Maybe not entirely, but again, it is also over the lake, so that can kind of reduce friction a little bit. So could be doing a little bit better job of reaching the surface than it would over land for the most part. But again, we're seeing 50 to 60 mile per hour velocities along this section of the line. I will say we do have storms. If we go back to reflectivity, we do have storms firing ahead of it, so we'll have to see how that trends as well as these storms continue to move off to the east, maybe a touch northeast. So we'll do a couple storm tracks on this section of the line as well. Around 50 miles an hour or so. It's going to take it into the South Haven area in the next 49, 50 minutes or so. The Ganges area in the next 55 minutes. The Douglas area at around 58 minutes. Holland area in about the next hour or so. And the Overijssel area again also in the next hour or so. Doing a track of this section of the line again off to the east at around 50 miles an hour. A few of these locations may be repeats, but the Covert area in 51 minutes. The South Haven, that is one of those repeats I was just mentioning, in about 53 minutes for that section of the line. But again, that may need to be adjusted a little bit as we do have storms firing ahead of it. I just want to see how that trends. That's going to be for the strongest part of the storms right now with the gustier winds. The Hartford area in about 56 minutes. Paw Paw in the next hour or so. And Pine Grove also in the next hour or so. And again, if you're further north, we're not really seeing anything extremely concerning in terms of severe weather. These are mainly just noisy thunderstorms to me at this point. They could be producing some gusty winds, maybe to around 40 miles per hour. And actually, we are seeing a little bit of elevated reflectivity west of the Nuevo area. So we may be the potential for very small hail around pea size in diameter, but I'm not really super concerned about severe weather of these storms at this time. These are mainly just some noisy thunderstorms is what we're looking at here. We're going to take a look out west of these storms as they're still, the main complex of storms prompting the warning is still off to the west a decent ways. And what we're mainly looking at is this Boeing segment from near Gary, Indiana, stretching around Portage, the Valparaiso area, down to around Wheatfield, Indiana, and then a little bit over the lake as well. That is the main section of the line we are monitoring, at least in the short term, for potential of severe weather. I'll go ahead and do another storm track on this. Carry it off just north of due east at around 55 miles per hour. And that is going to take it. Some of these locations are going to be Indiana locations. This is actually a longer list, so I'm going to take off my camera just for 1 second so you guys can see the whole list. But the Ogden Dunes area in 8 minutes, Indiana Dunes National Park area in the next 19 minutes, the Town of Pines area in 22 minutes, Springfield in 32 minutes. Again, these are Indiana locations I'm listing off. New Buffalo Township, this is when it's starting to enter Michigan in the next 35 minutes or so. Some more Indiana locations, Rolling Prairie and New Carlisle in the next 40 to 45 minutes or so, give or take a couple. The New Troy area, another Michigan location in the next 49 minutes. The Galion area in the next 49 minutes. And Bridgman in the next 51 minutes. So again, if you are ahead of this line, especially in southwestern Berrien County, I would be heading inside right now, preferably into a sturdy structure on the lowest floor, and just wait the storm out. I would be away from windows as well, and just with the tornado possible tag in place, and considering the environment in place, particularly when it comes to the low level wind shear, we cannot rule out the potential of a brief spin up tornado. I will admit our primary concern is damaging winds, but just with the wind shear overhead, I have to mention that potential, and that is something we will be continuing to watch for as these storms begin to approach Berrien County. So again, we do hit. This is our only warning in our coverage area that we are live for right now. This is it probably was a little bit early for this type of I know it's a little bit early, it seems like, but they're just doing some good advance warning considering the history of this line of storms, which I think is the proper move. Let me turn my camera back on. I apologize. But again, this is the proper move. Early warning's always best, and just considering the history of this line. Again, outside of the severe thunderstorm warning, we are monitoring this section of the line over Lake Michigan right now. That has the potential of maybe producing some strong to potentially damaging wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour. This would be tracking off to the east, maybe a touch northeast, and would be potentially impact if it holds together at its current strength. We would need to watch portions of Allegan and Van Buren counties for this over the next hour or so. And I am seeing some indications, some elevated reflectivity values, so I cannot rule out some small hail with this. Let me go back to my overlays and go to velocities. Again, just seeing some of these velocities, still 50 to 60 miles per hour. This is higher up into the storm, so whether it's necessarily reaching the ground is kind of difficult to determine at this range. We are seeing a little bit of rotation, perhaps. That could be a water spout, potentially over the lake. So that's something we'll have to watch. Steve is asking, how about Holland, Michigan? Holland, and you're likely starting to see the wind pick up, actually. Let me go back to velocity. We're maybe seeing the wind start to pick up a little bit, probably around 40 mile per hour gusts or so, give or take. That is from outflow from our northern complex of storms. There are additional storms off to the west that will move in as well. Let me actually track this out real quick for you. This is going to be 40 to 50 miles an hour. I'm going to take in the Holland area. That section of the line, the strongest portion, is going to be moving in over the next hour or so. But I'm aware winds might be picking up. We do have additional convection moving in. That is outflow from previous storms off to your north. And again, we're still watching this segment of the line that will still have to move through over the next hour or so. And again, further north, we're still watching these storms. Looks like they are updating our severe thunderstorm warning for Berrien County. It's just a continuation, primarily still for 60 mile per hour wind gusts. We still carry the tornado possible tag on this. And I'll pull up the update. Severe thunderstorms were located along a line. This is at 11:57, extending from 10 miles north of Ogden Dunes to near Rensselaer to near Leamington. Still moving off to the east at around 55 miles per hour. Again, our primary concern continues to be 60 mile per hour wind gusts with this line of storms. But with the tornado possible tag, we do want to remain alert for the potential of a brief spin-up tornado. In fact, just looking at northern Indiana radar, there's these little kinks in the line that we are kind of watching, like one near the Chesterton, Indiana area, one over the lake north of Ogden Dunes. Just these little kinks in the line we have to watch. We'll go to velocity on those, and storm relative may show them a little bit better. Yeah, storm relative is doing a little bit better job of showing what we look for. Just these little areas of spin that can develop along the kinks of these lines. That is what we're looking for when we mentioned the possibility of a brief spin-up tornado. I'm not seeing any imminent signals of that going on, but we are watching that as these storms continue to lift off to the east, maybe a touch northeast. Casey saying, don't leave me hanging in Constantine. Constantine, you are not in any imminent danger. These storms are still a decent distance away, and the Storm Prediction Center in their recent mesoscale discussion was actually noting a weakening trend, slow weakening trend with this line. I do expect that to continue. So if you are in the Constantine area, just given the proximity to the tornado watch, I would pay attention to these storms over the next hour or two, but I would expect to see a gradual weakening trend, which would kind of begin to limit the severe weather threat with eastward extent. But I would still be on alert as these storms, just given the proximity, at least for the potential of damaging wind gusts. If not, again, with the low-level wind shear in place, the low potential for a brief spin-up tornado. And that would probably arrive within the next, I can go ahead and do a longer track for you, actually, just to give a rough estimate. Or so. Let me slow that down to 55. If you are in the, let me zoom in a little bit, get Constantine up there. Constantine is starting to look like within the next, we'll say hour and a half or so is when you'll need to be paying attention to the strongest part of these storms, assuming they do hold together. Casey says, thank you so much. I have my homestead animals that I do not want to see flying through the air unintentionally. We are surrounded by cornfields, so whatever wind we get is always so harsh. Yeah, that is, can definitely understand that. Yeah, you can notice that sometimes in the more open areas, you'll notice the wind more than in the urban areas. Some of that is due to friction from the buildings and stuff, kind of blocking the wind and stuff. So it's something to note. That's something that yeah. So it might seem like in the open areas the winds are stronger. That can definitely be understandable. Steve is asking, how is Baldwin, Michigan looking? Baldwin, we're not looking at too much further to the north there in Baldwin. This is just a lot of this is just mainly rain up there, maybe a few rumbles of thunder, but this far north we're not looking at severe weather, I don't think. It looks like we got a new special weather statement coming in for Ottawa County. This is going to be for the potential of 50 mile per hour winds. I will pull up the text here. At 12:01 a.m., Doppler radar was tracking showers and thunderstorms along a line extending from near Grand Haven to 6 miles northwest of the Zeeland area to near Beechwood. Movement was northeast at 50 miles per hour. Again, our hazard of this will be wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour. That is not severe limits, but that is relatively gusty. I was kind of indicating that on velocities a little bit earlier in this area. Locations impacted include Holland, Grand Haven, Walker, Granville, Hudsonville, Zeeland, Coopersville, Ferrysburg, the Spring Lake area, Beechwood, Jenison, Allendale, the Conklin area, Wright, Port Sheldon, the Borculo area, Crockery Lake, Vermont, Olive Center, and Eastmanville. If you're in any locations I just called out, now's the time to get indoors inside a sturdy building. This is not a severe thunderstorm, but we're just watching some potential for gusty winds up to around 50 miles per hour. And that matches up with what we're seeing on velocities here. I'm seeing some indications of maybe 40, maybe approaching 50 mile an hour winds in spots. And again, that will be moving off to the northeast. I'll go ahead and do a storm track on this real quickly off to the northeast. And that's going to take it again towards the Walker area in the next 18 minutes, and then eventually in the portions of Kent County heads up for areas like Sparta in the next 29 minutes, Rockford in the next 34 minutes, Cedar Springs in the next 39 minutes, and the Grattan area in the next the Grattan area, I should say, in the next 43 minutes. Again, that is going to be the potential for and it looks like we got a new severe thunderstorm warning coming in now. This is going to be for Allegan and Van Buren counties. Again, that is for this line over the lake that I was discussing over the last several minutes. This is a new severe thunderstorm warning coming in. This is going to be for the potential of 60 mile per hour wind gusts. And this warning is going to go until 1:30 in the morning. At 12:04 a.m., severe thunderstorms are located along the line extending from 26 miles northwest of Van Buren State Park to 12 miles west of St. Joseph to near Beverly Shores, moving northeast at 60 miles per hour. Again, the hazard with this is going to be 60 mile per hour wind gusts. Sources radar indicated. Impact, expect damage to roofs, siding, and trees. Locations impacted include Holland, Allegan, South Haven, Paw Paw, Wayland, the Otsego area, Plainwell, Hartford, Matawan, Lawton, Bangor, Decatur, Fenville, Saugatuck, Martin, the Van Buren State Park area, Lake Michigan Beach, Dorr, Pine Grove, and Covert. If you are in these areas, in or around these areas I just called out, for your protection, move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a building. Again, as these storms continue to move off to the northeast at 60 miles per hour, our concern here is going to be 60 mile per hour wind gusts, especially along the leading edge of this line. So given this is a longer line of storms, I do want to do a couple of storm tracks for portions of this line. Okay, let me just enable it. Carry this off to the northeast. Let me actually go a little bit further south. Just 1 second. Take it off to the northeast at around 60 miles per hour. That's going to take it towards the Ganges area in the next 36 minutes. The Douglas area in the next 38 minutes. Holland in the next 47 minutes. The Overijssel area in the next 49 minutes. And Hopkins in the next 58 minutes. So around the next hour or so. Again, that is going to be for the potential 60 mile per hour wind gusts. Going a little bit further south, I want to draw another track, also off to the northeast, try and get a few more of our southern locations. We'll update that to 60 miles per hour as well. In Cedar, it is coming down hard. Thank you for that. Brianna, I believe that's how you pronounce that. In Cedar, it is coming down hard. Yep, it's definitely heavier rain up there. I do believe in the Cedar area. Let me move this up real quickly. We're not looking at severe weather. These are just going to be noisy thunderstorms with heavier rain. But we're not really concerned about severe weather the further north you go. We think the severe weather is going to remain south of I-96 and mainly west of US 131. So back to our storm track. For this is going to be for that more southern portion of the line I was tracking. Covert in the next 31 minutes. South Haven in the next 33 minutes. The Ganges area again. You're under an earlier storm track, so this is a repeat, but 42 minutes. The Lee area in 43 minutes. Pine Grove in the next 52 minutes. And Allegan due to in the next 56 minutes for this portion of the line, assuming it does hold together. So again, we have 2 severe thunderstorm warnings we are watching tonight. If you are just joining us here, this is going to be for Berrien, southwestern portions of Berrien County. As I go back to this section, this is going to be for this section of the line. And then also Allegan and Van Buren County. That's going to be for this section of the line as it moves off to the east and northeast. You're very welcome, Brianna. I'm glad that I don't think a lot of us has really slept this much. I know I haven't really gotten as much sleep as I'd like to this week, but that's just the nature of the game sometimes, with the weather. So, but I will say after tonight, there's not really going to be too much to worry about during the nighttime hours for the foreseeable future, at least as of right now. So after tonight, we'll have several nights where we can rest easy. We're not looking at any severe impactful weather or anything like that. So we just got to get through tonight, and we'll be good to go. Taking a look at our northern section of the line. If you're in the Big Rapids, Stanwood, Morley, Howard City area, moving through White Cloud, Newaygo, Ashland right now, this section of the line's not severe. I want to take a look at velocities. I can't rule out some potential for gusty winds, maybe up to 40 miles per hour of this section of the line. We're going to take a look at a different radar. This is the Detroit radar, because Grand Rapids not really, doesn't really, I mean, it has a decent look, lower level look, but it's also kind of looking in the wrong way for us to get a fairly decent look at winds at a reasonable level. So we'll go to our surrounding radars, take a little bit higher up in the storm, and I'm not seeing anything super concerning with that, but I'll go back to reflectivity and back to Grand Rapids. Just some heavy rainfall, maybe some gusty winds up to around 40 miles per hour, and frequent lightning, but I'm not seeing anything particularly severe of these storms. Again, and then it looks like we do have storms starting to move into southwestern Berrien County. So Bridgman, New Troy, New Buffalo, it is starting to pick up a little bit out there. Going to our velocity product, those are not the strongest wind producers. Our strongest winds are still in northwestern Indiana. And taking a look at velocities, I may say that, well, there is this section we'll have to watch near the Town of Pines area for the potential 60 mile per hour winds with time. That will move east-northeast into the southern portions of the county around New Buffalo Township. Let me do a storm track on that. And off to the east at around 55 miles per hour was the last update. So again, New Buffalo Township in the next 18 minutes. New Troy in 31 minutes. The Galion area in the next 32 minutes, and Bridgman in the next 33 minutes. We are also watching this northern section of the line. Oops, let me clear that out. And if you're a heads up in areas like St. Joseph, Stevensville, the Waterville area, and Lake Michigan Beach, Benton Heights, this section of the line we are having to monitor for gusty winds as well. And if that continues to strengthen, severe thunderstorm warnings may be required for the rest, more of Berrien County, northern portions. We're also seeing, at least on the northern Indiana radar, this may be some potential rotation Doesn't necessarily scream tornadic to me. But again, it's just we have to watch these areas of rotation, especially in southwest Michigan. They could produce a brief spin-up tornado. But again, our primary concern here will be damaging wind gusts up to around 60 miles per hour. Taking a look at the Grand Rapids radar, this is going to be for our section of the line. Getting ready to move on shore in the not too distant future. And again, we're still indicating the potential for 60 mile per hour winds, 60 to 70 mile per hour velocities in spots. So I do think 60 mile per hour winds are a reasonable possibility of the storm, especially along the immediate lake shore. So areas like South Haven, Covert, the Ganges area, Douglas, and Makatawa Park there on the west side of Holland. These are areas we'll have to watch in the short term for damaging wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour. We also still have our special weather statement in effect for Ottawa County for the potential 50 mile an hour winds. I will say looking at velocity is okay, I'm still seeing some signals of maybe 40, 45 miles an hour or so. So there's still some signals of gusty winds. However, it's not really looking all that concerning, just some gusty winds mainly here. Same goes for this section of the line further to the north. Again, there's no statements or anything on it, but Howard City, Stanwood, Morley, and Big Rapids areas, things may start to pick up a little bit here in the next few minutes with this portion, with this little complex of storms along the woods. Become a broken line of storms up here. And again, if you're north of there, I'm mainly seeing rain, maybe a couple rumbles of thunder, but not really looking at severe weather up here, I don't think. Our severe weather potential is mainly going to be confined to southwest Michigan, and it will only be a couple hour deal at most, I think. Again, our tornado watch does go until 3 a.m. That is only for Berrien and Cass counties. But again, we do have severe thunderstorm warnings for Allegan and Van Buren counties that do go until 1:30 in the morning for the potential 60 mile per hour wind gusts. Taking a look at velocity on our section approaching Berrien County. I am going to say that the strongest velocities on our southwest Berrien County severe thunderstorm warning. I will say watch the area near Springfield, Indiana. That may move for maybe with the east, mostly east, but a touch northeasterly motion. That could be moving towards areas like Galion, over towards Buchanan, Niles, Bertrand. You're not necessarily under a severe thunderstorm warning just yet. In fact, this is south of the area, but we do have a tornado warning coming in now. This is south of our coverage area, but again, that's why we have the tornado possible tag, as it's one of those kinks in the lines that have developed, and it has produced a little bit of rotation there near the Union Mills, Indiana area. And we're watching another one of those similar rotational signatures south of the Michigan City area. So we may need to watch that in the short term as well. And again, up here I'm mainly seeing gusty wind potential. And honestly, whether it's severe or not remains to be determined. This doesn't necessarily look severe to me at the moment, but we'll continue to watch it as that moves to the east-northeast as well. But heads up for areas like St. Joseph, Shoreham, Stevensville, Bridgman, New Troy, and even New Buffalo over the next few minutes. Things will start to pick up a little bit with the storms. The rain will pick up, the winds will become more gusty, and it'll become fairly noisy out there with the frequent lightning ongoing. Again, taking a look further north at this severe thunderstorm warning, these storms are still offshore, but we'll be moving onshore over the next little bit here. And again, this we're concerned here is 60 mile per hour wind gusts. There's no tornado possible tag, so we're not really concerned, at least for the moment, of a tornado threat. And again, taking a look at our velocity product again. Yeah, we're just monitoring potential for 60 mile per hour wind gusts. Like less of the Douglas and Ganges area, I'm still seeing pockets of 60 to 70 mile per hour velocities. This is a decent distance up from the radar, though, about 4,000 to 5,000 feet. So, and that may not all be necessarily reaching the surface. But again, 60 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts are still a possibility of these storms as they continue to move off. In this case, a little more to the northeast. And we'll do a couple updated storm tracks up here too. Take that off. We'll take it like that. And it was, according to Grand Rapids, is moving 60 miles per hour. So the Ganges area in the next 26 minutes. Douglas 27 minutes, Holland 36 minutes, the Overijssel area excuse me, in the next 38 minutes, Jamestown in the next 49 minutes, and Dorr eventually in 52 minutes, assuming these storms do hold together. Again, this is a very limited window for severe weather here, I think, as within the next, by around 2-3 a.m., we're going to lose the instability to surface, any surface instability left for these storms to work with. And at that point, I think we'll be transitioning just more to heavy rainmakers and general garden variety thunderstorms. If you are just joining us here, I am Jacob Mountain, live community manager here at West Michigan Weather. I am live with you here for severe thunderstorm warnings in Allegan, Van Buren, and southwestern portions of Berrien County. These are all for the potential for 60 mile per hour wind gusts, although in the case of Berrien County, we do have a tornado possible tag as well. And this is going to be a heads up. This is just coming in for those of you in Kent County. We have a special weather statement coming in for 40 mile per hour wind gust potential. That is going to expire at at 1 o'clock in the morning. This is for the outflow boundary associated with those storms to the north I was telling you about earlier. This is an outflow boundary related special weather statement. At 12:19 a.m. Doppler radar was tracking an outflow boundary along the line extending from 5 miles northwest of Walker to near Granville to near the Hudsonville area. Movement of this outflow boundary was east at 45 miles per hour. Hazard with this outflow boundary will be winds in excess of 40 miles per hour. Source on this is radar indicated. The impacts with this gusty winds could knock down tree limbs and roll out unsecure objects. So think like your trash cans, and stuff like that. That can be blown around. Locations impacted include Grand Rapids, Wyoming, Kentwood, Walker, Granville, East Grand Rapids, Rockford, Sparta, the Lowell area, Caledonia, the Gerald R. Ford International Airport area, Ada, the Groton area, or Grattan, I should say, Cutlerville, Belmont, Alaska, Alto, Cannonsburg, or in Cascade and Dutton. If you're in these areas or around these areas I just called out, you might want to get indoors as this outflow boundary passes. There is also still a few indications of lightning, so you want to remain inside anyway. But again, our main concern here is our outflow boundary from these storms to the north, surging out ahead a little bit, could be producing some gusty winds to around 40 miles per hour. Our stronger winds are going to be still south of there in our severe thunderstorm warnings, however, across Allegan, Van Buren, and the southwestern portions of Berrien County. Taking a look at our section of storms to the north, we're not really focusing on this way too much since it's not severe, but I still can't rule out some gustier winds of this line segment from stretching through the Big Rapids, Stanwood, Morley, and Howard City areas right along US 131. That is moving off to the northeast as well. So heads up for areas like Reed City will pick up a little bit, Barryton, the Remus area, the Evart area as well, and Millbrook. Also Lake Isabella, eventually the Clare and Harrison areas if it holds together. Again, so if you're just joining us here, the National Weather Service, we have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for Allegan, Van Buren, and Berrien counties. We've just been watching these storms as they continue to head towards the Lake Michigan shoreline. We are concerned about potential for damaging wind gusts of these storms up to around 60 miles per hour. I will say in this case, my area of greatest concern, less of the Holland area, we're still seeing some higher velocities, 40, 50, maybe 60 miles per hour. And then further to the south, west of South Haven is another area of concern as these storms continue to move off to the east and northeast. What we're watching there. So again, if you are in this severe thunderstorm warning, now's the time you want to get indoors. I mean, I know it's later in the night out there, but still, you want to be indoors, get in that sturdy structure, preferably away from the windows on the lowest floor, and just let these storms pass on by. And hold on just a second. Glitch in my chat room here on OBS. Let me get an additional source. Okay, there we go. So again, we're going to go back south, focus on our storms to the south. If you're in St. Joseph, Shoreham, Stevensville, you're not in the severe thunderstorm warning, but activity is likely starting to pick up. We are seeing some signs of gusty winds in there, and we're also monitoring what could be some signs of little areas of rotation, like near the St. Joseph area, towards Benton Harbor and Higman Park. We are watching for potential areas of rotation. Not necessarily tornadic to me, but just something we are watching. If you are near the New Buffalo Township area, there is a couple areas we are watching. Let me just a second. We'll go back to velocity. One north of the New Buffalo area, right over the lake. So heads up for areas like Turner Shores, Union Pier, Lakeside. We're watching that area as well, and it looks like we got a new severe thunderstorm warning coming in. This is going to be for the rest. This is going to be for all of Berrien County. Sounds like this is going to be a replacement for the warning that's about to expire for southwestern Berrien County. This is going to be a new severe thunderstorm warning for all of Berrien County and western portions of Cass County. This warning is going to go until 1:30 in the morning as well, similar to the warning to the north for Allegan and Van Buren. And this is also going to be for 60 mile per hour wind gusts, and it also has a tornado possible tag. This is a rather large warning, including several counties in northern Indiana and southwest Michigan. In southwest Michigan, which is our coverage area, is going to be western Cass and Berrien counties. Again, this goes until 1:30 in the morning. At 12:26 a.m., severe thunderstorms were located along a line extending from 13 miles northwest of New Buffalo to Winnemac, moving northeast at 55 miles per hour. Again, our hazard with this is going to be 60 mile per hour wind gusts, and the source on this is going to be radar indicated. Expect damage to roofs, siding, and trees. That's going to be your impact with this. And again, if you are in Berrien and western Cass counties, you need to be taking shelter. You need to be heading indoors right now and be inside, preferably away from windows on the lowest floor. And be ready to seek tornado shelter precautions if a brief spin-up tornado does occur. Just with the tornado possible tag in place, you want to err on the side of caution and just at least be ready to seek shelter if a tornado is spotted and a warning is issued. So again, St. Joseph, Shoreham, Stevensville, the activity is beginning to pick up. New Buffalo Township, it's beginning to pick up. It'll be picking up in the Free Oaks area within the next few minutes. New Troy, the Galleon area, Buchanan, Berrien Springs, Sodus, the Benton Heights area, Lake Michigan Beach area, Waterville, over towards Dowagiac, Pokagon, and Edwardsburg. If you are in any of these areas I'm calling out right now, again, you want to be inside on the lowest floor, away from windows. Let these storms pass on by. Same goes for areas further to the north in Allegan and Van Buren counties. We're still watching these storms continue to move towards the Lake Michigan shoreline. Our primary concern up here continues to be 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. We are watching a couple Boeing segments of the line, one less of Port Sheldon and Holland. That is still showing some relatively decent velocities on the order of around 50 miles an hour to maybe 60 miles per hour. So again, if you are in Holland, if you are in, there's not a warning for Ottawa County yet. I am curious if one may be required just with this Boeing segment of the line. If you are in Holland, especially north of Holland, Port Sheldon, the Ferrisburg area as well, and also Grand Haven. Just be aware this stronger segment of the line is bowing out a little bit. We are watching for elevated wind potential with this, and if this does hold, a warning or potentially another statement may be required as these move on shore, moving northeast. And then we're also watching this segment of the line west of South Haven that is still also showing potential for damaging wind gusts, potentially up to 60 miles per hour as these move on shore. Those will be in the South Haven area within the next few minutes, also the Covert area and the Ganges area, the Fayetteville, Douglas, and Lee areas as well. Again, these will be moving on shore over the next few minutes, and we'll need to be watching for the potential of damaging wind gusts as these storms approach. Again, we are also continuing to. So if you are just joining us here, just to summarize everything going on right now, we have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for Allegan, Van Buren, Cass, and Berrien counties. Those both go until 1:30 in the morning, so for the next hour or so. And those are primarily for the potential of 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. If you are in Cass and Berrien counties, we do have a tornado possible tag on this warning, so we will need to watch any areas of rotation that may spin up for the potential of a brief spin-up tornado. Taking a look at velocities, one area we are watching is just south of the state line, later on Interstate 80-90 there, near the state line. That is moving a little bit to the northeast, so heads up for areas like Galleon, heading towards Buchanan, Niles, the Glendora community, Free Oaks. Just be aware we are watching some areas of potential rotation with this line. This doesn't necessarily look like an imminent tornado situation to me. We are watching this area of rotation in the line, that if it does tighten up further, a tornado warning may be required. Again, we're not seeing imminent tornado signal. In fact, I can put on rotation tracker here as well. Right now, this is looking like relatively weak rotation, but it is something we are continuing to watch as it moves off to the northeast. Going back to our velocity product, that matches up as well. We're also watching north of near the St. Joseph, Fairplain, and Benton Heights area. I'll put on rotation tracker there as well. This is looking more like a shear line to me. This doesn't necessarily look like an area of focus rotation. This is looking more like gusty winds to me. So we'll go back to our velocity. So gusty to potentially damaging winds in the Benton Height, Fairplain, St. Joseph areas, heading towards Lake Michigan Beach and the Waterville area in the next few minutes. And then we're also going to be watching the same thing again, the Holland, Douglas, Ganges, South Haven, Covert areas, also the Overijssel, Dorr, Wayland, Hopkins areas, Allegan, Watson, Plainwell, which I know Plainwell just a couple nights ago, the Otsego Plainwell area was hit by those tornadoes. Again, we're watching the potential for more damaging winds to move through if these storms do hold together. And then also, if you're in the Holland, north of Holland towards Port Sheldon and Ferrysburg and Grand Haven, you're not under a warning yet. However, I am getting somewhat concerned about this bowing segment of the line. We're still showing elevated velocities up there. It's also still bowing out a little bit. If that continues, severe thunderstorm warnings may be required for Ottawa County as well, if that does hold together. Further to the north, we're still watching our outflow boundary heading into Kent County. This is for 40 mile per hour wind gusts are concerned with that. Not really severe. And then the same goes with these storms to the north, east of the US 131 corridor now, heading towards the Remus, Millbrook, Barryton areas. These are not severe. These are just your maybe some gusty winds. Look at velocities, but not really severe. I'm not really seeing concerns for severe with this. Just some sub-severe wind gusts along with heavy downpours and frequent lightning. Our main concern in terms of severe weather is really along the lake shore, especially right now south of I-96. Although, especially south of I-96 is our immediate concern for severe weather. Again, we do have severe thunderstorm warnings for Allegan, Van Buren, Berrien, and the western sections of Cass County. Taking a few storm tracks along the line, we're also kind of watching this little kink in the line that might be trying to develop west of Ganges. Let me take a look at velocity. The storm relative. Not really seeing a definitive rotation signal. Let me go to rotation tracker. Not really seeing a definitive rotation signal, which is good news, but we just have to watch those little reflectivity signals we get from time to time, just in case. And then, if you're southwest of South Haven, right along the shoreline, so for areas like Wildwood, Crystal Beach, the Palisades Park area, and also Indian Grove into the South Haven area, we are watching this little kink in the line. Looking at velocities, we are maybe seeing a little bit of rotation in there. Again, not necessarily tornadic, but just something we are watching as well. We gotta, again, watch these little kinks in the line that develop, as they can sometimes spin up and produce brief tornadoes. Michelle is saying winds picking up here in the Wyoming, Michigan area and hearing thunder in the distance. Yeah, that would make sense in the Wyoming area. Those are going to be from storms off to your west, getting ready to head on shore. And then maybe some convection to the north as well. And the gusty winds you're seeing, Michelle, is going to be from that outflow boundary we talked about, from these storms off to the north, producing outflow boundary, and that is producing the gusty winds. Casey also saying winds picking up here as well. I can see lightning too. Yep, that would make sense as well. Casey, I know you're in the Constantine area, so yeah, you would definitely be seeing lightning from these storms off to the west, and the winds picking up. That could potentially, I wouldn't necessarily doubt that either. Let me take a look at observations behind the scenes. I will say at the Three Rivers Airport, we are gusting to around 24, 25 miles per hour there. Winds out of the south. So that I wouldn't doubt that. So again, we are focusing on this line of thunderstorms getting ready to approach, getting ready to move on shore here. If you're in the Port Sheldon area, up to around Grand Haven and down towards the Holland area, things are going to start picking up here in the next few minutes. We are watching this segment of the line, which is, we're going to take a look at velocity on this. We're still seeing some velocity signals for some gusty winds. I will say we're still seeing signals for gusty winds there. Taking a look, I will say 40 to 50 mile an hour winds I feel comfortable with this, so maybe just below severe limits. But you'll definitely want to still be indoors. In Ottawa County, again, as this portion of the line approaches, you could be seeing some gusty winds, especially near the Port Sheldon, Ferrysburg, Grand Haven areas within the next few minutes. Heading further south, we are still watching other segments of the line with a little more concern for damaging winds in excess of 60 miles per hour. Taking a look at velocities, and taking a look at storm relative. I will say that signal we were looking at previously has kind of gone down a little bit. Again, those when we say brief spin-ups, we mean brief spin-ups, like it could disappear in the next scan. Taking a look at rotation tracker, I'm not really seeing anything definitive. A lot of this is just either noise or it's a wind shear line, which is more of a concern of gusty winds. But again, nonetheless, we are watching it all. Heading further south, I will say at least the northern Indiana radar is kind of hinting at a potential signal south of the Covert area for rotation, and that somewhat matches up with velocity. If you're near the little Paw Paw Lake, Lake Michigan Beach, Fish Corners area, we are potentially seeing a little bit of rotation here. Let me put our rotation tracker back on real quickly. Kind of matches up a little bit there. Again, a lot of this is mainly a shear line, but even on the rotation tracker, you can see that little bit of a kink near the little Paw Paw Lake area. That is the kind of thing we're paying attention to for potential rotation and the low threat of a brief spin-up tornado. Again, we have no active tornado warnings or anything of that nature right now, but just something we are watching. So north of the Coloma, near the Watervliet area, that's going to be heading towards potentially the Bangor, Hartford areas, West Bangor, the Token, McDonald, and Stoughton Corners areas as well, is where we're watching just a little bit of potential rotation. Heading further south across Marion County, a lot of what I'm seeing here is gusty winds. Although south of the Galleon area, right along the state line near Interstate 8090, we are again watching one of those as I go back to our rotation tracker. Actually, just north of the Galleon area as well. Maybe a little bit of rotation there as well. Let me pop our velocity back in. Yeah, we're watching just a little bit of rotation there. Nothing definitively tornadic at the moment, I don't think. But we'll be watching all of it as it continues to move off to the east and northeast. But our primary concern at this point, okay, we do have a new tornado warning coming in, and this is going to include southeastern Berrien County and southwestern Cass counties. This is a new tornado warning that is in effect for southeastern Berrien and southwestern Cass counties. This is going to go for the next half hour or so until 1:15 a.m. Again, this is a tornado warning for northwestern Elkhart County, north central Indiana, St. Joseph County, and north central Indiana, southwestern Cass County and southwestern Michigan, and southeastern Berrien County and southwestern Michigan. Again, this goes until 1:15 a.m. At 12:41 a.m., severe thunderstorms capable of producing a tornado were located along a line extending from near the New Carlisle area to North Liberty, moving northeast at 55 miles per hour. Hazard with this is going to be a potential tornado. Source is radar indicated. Impact flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. These dangerous storms will be near, some of these locations are going to be Indiana, but South Bend and New Carlisle around 12:45 a.m., Mishawaka, Georgetown, Gulliver Park, and Roseland around 12:50 a.m., Niles and Granger around 12:55 a.m., Osceola and Edwardsburg around 1 o'clock a.m., Elkhart and Simonton Lake around 1:05 a.m. Other locations impacted included by these tornadic storms include Jimtown, the Leidick area, Indian Village, Barron Lake, Adamsville, Bertrand, Chano Lakes, Crumstown, Eagle Lake, and Woodland. This all includes Interstate 80 in Indiana between mile markers 67 and 91. If you are in this warning area, take cover now. Move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows. If you are outdoors, in a mobile home, or in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. Tornadoes are extremely dangerous to see and confirm at night. Do not wait to see or hear the tornado. Take cover now. It's in the middle of the night. You're not likely going to be seeing a potential tornado, so don't go around looking for it. You need to be taking cover. Our potential area of concern is going to be west of South Bend, near the Hubbard area, and is moving off to the northeast. So I'm going to track our potential area of concern, our potential tornado, track it off to the northeast. Give me just 1 second. Track it off again to the northeast is going to take it towards the South Bend International Airport area in the next 7 minutes, the State Line area in the next 12 minutes, the Bertrand area in the next 12 minutes, and Edwardsburg in the next 22 minutes. Niles area, I would give it, I would say around the next 10 to 15 minutes or so for our potential tornadic circulation. If you are in any of these areas I am calling out and you happen to be watching, you need to be taking your tornado precautions right now. What does that look like? If you have a basement, go there. If you don't have a basement, then you want a small interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building, of a sturdy structure, such as a site-built home. You want to put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. So in that case, in case I'm talking like an interior closet or bathroom, or potentially, or even a hallway, as long the main goal here is to put as many walls between you and the outside, and also on the lowest floor. If you are in a mobile home or a vehicle, you need to evacuate those and find substantial structure. So again, our potential tornado is being indicated near the Hubbard, Indiana area, near Chano Lakes, near the Leidick area. Let me take a look at the debris tracker real quickly. I am not seeing a definitive tornado debris signature on this yet, but it doesn't mean one can't show up in the next scan. And sometimes with the very brief nature of these tornadoes, we may not necessarily get a debris signature, because they can spin up and then be gone in between radar scans. So this is why you need to be taking cover in this tornado warning, which includes the Buchanan, Niles, Bertrand, and Edwardsburg areas. And again, interesting, we're also watching another area of potential rotation. That's going to be more of a South Bend deal to me right now, but heads up, especially south and east of Edwardsburg, if that does maintain its strength as it moves northeast. Especially areas allotted south of US 12, we might have to watch this circulation as well. But our primary circulation of concern is west of the South Bend area, heading just northwest of the South Bend Airport area. It is heading in the general direction of Bertrand, Niles, and Edwardsburg, and potentially, and again the Niles, Bertrand, Edwardsburg, and State Line areas within the next several minutes. Right now, it is approaching where Interstate 80, 90, and US 31. It will soon be approaching the US 12 corridor near Niles, and also the M60 corridor near Niles as well. So if you are in any of these areas I'm calling out right now, you need to be taking your tornado precautions. Swinging back north real quick to our severe thunderstorm warnings. If you're in the South Haven area, You're likely in the thick of the storm right now. The covert area as well. Bangor, things are likely to be picking up in the next few minutes as well, along with the Lee area. Same goes for the Holland, Port Sheldon, and Ferrisburg areas. If you're north of Holland, these storms are not necessarily severe right now, but we are still showing signs of gusty winds looking at velocity. And then south of Holland and Douglas, Ganges, South Haven, Covert area, Bangor, Lee, winds are likely going to start picking up in the next few minutes. Let me go back to velocity actually real quickly. Not really seeing any definitive signals of rotation here. Maybe west of the Bangor area, and maybe a little bit west of Hartford as well. But our main rotation area of concern, which has prompted a tornado warning, is just southwest of the Bertrand area. Again, right near Interstate 80, 90, and US 31, north and west of South Bend. That is going to be heading in the general direction of Bertrand, especially within the next few minutes, and eventually Niles as well. These storms are moving relatively quickly off to the northeast at 55 miles per hour, so it'll be moving in this general direction very quickly here. So that's another reason you need to be taking shelter now in southeastern Berrien and southwestern Cass counties. Again, if you are just joining us here, I am Jacob Melton, live here again with West Michigan Weather. We have a tornado warning that is in effect for southeastern Berrien and southwestern Cass counties, including the Buchanan, Niles, Bertrand, and Edwardsburg areas. This is for brief spin-up tornadoes associated with this line of thunderstorms that continues to move northeast to the east and northeast across southwest Michigan. We also have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for Berrien and Cass County for 60-mile-per-hour wind gust potential, along with Allegan and Van Buren counties as well, also for 60-mile-per-hour wind gust potential. So if you are in any of these severe thunderstorm warnings, and especially the tornado warning, you need to be taking cover right now. So again, I will zoom in, go back to our velocity. Again, we are still showing our rotation, passing right over the Interstate 80, 90, US 31 corridors. And Bertrand and Niles, it is right on your doorstep. So you need to be taking cover right now. Buchanan, this particular circulation is going to be remaining off to your south and east, but you should still be in cover as well, as you're still likely seeing gusty to damaging wind gusts. You're also likely seeing the rain pick up and the light, and maybe a little indication of some potential very small hail. But our main concern for a tornado is going to likely pass just to your south and east. Although maybe we are seeing a little bit of a weak circulation develop near the Buchanan area as well. Just kind of highlighting that here. Let me put on our rotation tracker on this area of rotation. Give me just a second here. And again, we're watching our area of circulation, again, right near the US 31 and Interstate 80-90 corridor, heading in the general direction of Bertrand and Niles. We are watching this little area of circulation near the Buchanan area as well. Berrien Springs, you are not in the tornado warning. However, you're still likely experiencing gusty to damaging winds, and you're seeing the rain begin to pick up. But you're not in this tornado warning, but you'll definitely want to still be indoors. You are under a severe thunderstorm warning with the tornado possible tag. So you'll definitely want to still be in that sturdy structure right now, and definitely be alert still for the potential of a brief spin-up tornado. Again, our most imminent area of concern of that is going to be heading into the Bertrand area right now, where we're still seeing our circulation. We'll go to our debris tracker. Let me take the other header off. Let's go to our debris tracker. I'm not seeing tornado debris at this point. I'm not seeing any definitive signals of that. But that does not mean we do not have a tornado potentially on the ground here. So you definitely want to treat it as such, and you definitely need to be taking cover right now. in the Niles and Bertrand areas, also Edwardsburg as well. Going further north, we're going to take a look at our Carly. It is heading to the northeast. I will say the whole line is moving east, but the storms themselves are moving a little bit more in the northeasterly direction. So we'll say east-northeast of Carly. So if you are, again, ahead of this line as well in Cass and eventually maybe St. Joseph counties as well. If this does hold together, we will need to keep an eye out as well for the potential of damaging wind gusts and potentially brief spin-up tornadoes. So again, it is moving to the east-northeast and generally. Let me do a couple of storm tracks here. Jose is asking about the Wyoming area. Wyoming, I will be watching these storms. However, I think with time, especially as these get further east, they'll start to lose the severity a little bit. So most likely, Jose, I would say some gusty winds. Probably most likely on the order of 40 to 50 miles an hour. We'll be watching these storms further to the north. But I'm not as concerned about a tornado threat up here necessarily. We have less in the way of surface-based instability. So this would primarily be a gusty wind threat if these storms hold together. Again, if you're near the Niles area, especially right now, you need to be taking shelter. The Bertrand area. I'm seeing some questions about the Lawrence area. I will say if you're near Lawrence, let me go back to the other radar. We are seeing maybe a little bit of rotation develop, at least on this radar source in here. Let me go back to our rotation tracker again. Actually, it looks like a little bit more of a shear line to me. So I will say mainly gusty winds in the Lawrence area, I think, just taking a quick assessment of things. But that is getting ready to move in right now into the Lawrence area. So it was Amy that asked that question. Yep, things are going to be picking up, if not already, in the Lawrence area momentarily. So again, just taking a general reset of the situation. We have a tornado warning in effect for southeastern Berrien and southwestern portions of Cass County. It does continue for the next 20 minutes or so until 1:15 in the morning. At 12:54 a.m., severe thunderstorms capable of producing tornadoes were located along a line extending from near the Buchanan area to Roseland to near Lakeville. Still moving to the northeast at 55 miles per hour. Primary hazard of this continues to be a potential tornado with radar indicated rotation as our source. Forgot to click off on accident there, but impact flying debris will be dangerous for those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. Updated pathcasts on this are these dangerous storms will be near South Bend, Mishawaka, Niles, Georgetown, Granger, Gulliver Park, I believe that is, Osceola, and Edwardsburg around 1 a.m. The Elkhart area in 1:05 a.m. and Simonton Lake around 1:10 a.m. Some of these locations I called off are Indiana locations, but just wanted to pass those along. Again, if you are in the tornado warning area, you need to be taking cover right now. You need to move to that basement or an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy structure. Avoid windows. If you are outdoors in a mobile home or a vehicle, you need to evacuate those areas and move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. Which a good way to protect yourself from flying debris, some good ways. Like if you have like a football helmet or any kind of helmet, like a bike helmet, or even as a last-ditch effort, a metal cooking pot. I know that might look silly, but it can protect your head and neck, help protect your head and neck from flying debris. If you also have a mattress or a blanket or any kind of things you could put over you to protect yourself. If you can also get under a sturdy object like a desk or something, or under a stairwell or something sturdy to help protect yourself from flying debris. That would be flying and falling debris. That would be helpful as well. And again, with it being nighttime, you're not going to be seeing this tornado if it's on the ground either. So again, you need to be taking cover right now, especially in the Niles area, Edwardsburg in the next few minutes. Bertrand, stay in shelter a few more minutes as the circulation is passing you now. But I would remain in shelter for the next few minutes. Take a look at velocities again. Let me take the other header off. Didn't realize that was on. Oops. But again, if you're near the Bertrand area, near Niles, it is near, at least on this scan, it is near the M60 and M51 corridors. It is near the Brandywine High School area, near the Walmart Supercenter. New scan coming in. It is near M60 and US 12 right now, near Main Street, Yankee Street, South 17th Street. There is the Michiana Christian Embassy there, the Silverbrook Cemetery area. It is near the Jerry Tyler Memorial Airport in Niles. If you are near these areas I am calling out, you need to be taking cover right now. This is your potential tornadic circulation heading over the southeast side of Niles, at least on the radar. And taking a look at debris tracker, fortunately we're not seeing any signs of tornado debris, but I would not trust this alone to determine if a tornado is on the ground. You need to be taking cover right now if in this tornado warning. In Edwardsburg, this potential circulation may pass to your west, but we are watching an additional area of concern near the Interstate 90 and just southwest of the state, 80-90, and just southwest of the state line, southwest of Granger and Prairie Lane, Indiana. We are watching a couple more areas of potential concern that could spin up. So you still need to be in shelter in Edwardsburg, because even if you don't see a tornado, even if it's damaging straight line winds, wind is wind. It would cause damage even whether it's rotating or straight line. It'll still cause damage. So you need to be taking this seriously. You need to be taking cover right now. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning coming in. This is going to be for portions of Cass and St. Joseph counties for the potential 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. And we also still have the tornado possible tag on it. So areas like Constantine, White Pigeon, Marcellus, Vollinia, Penn, Cassopolis, also the Mottville area. You are in Flowerfield. You are in the severe thunderstorm warning. Again, it does have the tornado possible tag on it. So I would be getting inside that sturdy structure right now in the severe thunderstorm warning, preferably away from those windows and on the lowest floor. And definitely remain alert for the potential of a brief spin-up tornado. Going further to the north real quick, our strongest part of this line is stretching just south near and just south of the Holland area, heading towards the Overijssel area, through Lee, through the Breedsville and Bangor area, over towards Lawrence. It is going to be moving into the Allegan, Pine Grove, Paw Paw, Lawton, Decatur, also the Door and Wayland area over the next several minutes, Hopkins as well. Our primary concern up here is 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. We do not have a tornado possible tag up here. And taking a look at velocity, I'm not really seeing too much of a definitive signal for any potential rotation. A lot of this appears to be straight line winds. In fact, we could put on our rotation tracker up here as well, and that'll kind of collaborate that. A lot of what we're seeing down here is a shear line, not necessarily rotation, maybe a little bit near the Lee area. Let me take a look at that. Go to our storm relative. Okay. Maybe a little bit of rotation there northeast of Lee. Definitely nothing, doesn't look tornadic to me at this point. Not seeing anything imminent there. But just something we are watching is that little circulation there northeast of the Lee area. But our primary concerns in terms of a tornado right now is going to still be near the Niles area. In fact, I will say it's gotten a little bit tighter there. It's a little more tighter of a signal there near the M60 corridor, right near Barron Lake, near Detroit and Pine Lake Road, near Yankee Street, Huntley Road, and Barron Lake Road. I am seeing a little bit more of a where you see these red gleams come together. It's where we're seeing a little bit more in the way of a rotational signature. Let me check debris tracker on it. I'm not seeing anything on the debris tracker yet. But if you are if you're near the Niles Airport area, if you're near the Jerry Tire Memorial Airport area, especially points east, you need to be taking cover right now. If you're in Niles proper, stay in cover. But this is also going to be a heads up for the Cassopolis area over the next few minutes. If this does hold together or strengthen, a tornado warning may necessarily become necessary for the for the Cassopolis area. We'll also include the Pokagon area, potentially the Wadiak, the Daly area, LaGrange. If you're in these areas I'm calling out, this is an early heads up. You may want to consider heading to your tornado shelters. We are still seeing signs of rotation here along the M60 corridor here, north of US 12. So, okay, on the newest scans that kind of brought it out a little bit. Again, these are going to be very brief tornadoes if they touch down. We're not looking at long track tornadoes. We're not looking at strong, violent tornadoes or anything like that tonight. These are going to be your brief, weak spin-up tornadoes that may only last within a radar scan or two. But again, you still need to be taking cover in the Edwardsburg area. I will say south of the state line, near the Prairie Lane area in Indiana, we're seeing a little bit of a rotation signal. A lot of what I'm seeing here seems to be straight line winds, but you definitely still want to take it just as seriously, whether it's rotating or straight line wind. Either way, it can still do damage. So we'll go to our rotation tracker here and take a look at that. I will say our main focus for rotation is still going to be east of Niles now, near Pine Lake Road, Beebe Road, I think that is, or Daly Road as well. It's where we're seeing our potential circulation still. A lot of what I'm seeing here is mainly a shear line to me, mainly strong to damaging wind potential. They have updated our severe thunderstorm warning further to the north. Let me go take a look at that real quick. And they are continuing this severe thunderstorm warning. They have added the tornado possible tag to our severe thunderstorm warnings for portions of Allegan and Van Buren counties. This is still primary concern here, is still 60 mile an hour wind gusts. But we do have a tornado possible tag, and I am seeing a potential area of interest southwest of Allegan. Let me take a look at velocity on that. It's a little bit hard to tell on base velocity. We'll go to our storm relative. And maybe a little bit of, it was probably that broad rotation signature we were seeing near the Lee area earlier. That is still somewhat evident near the Allegan area. I'm not seeing a definitive, okay, maybe a little bit of rotation there still near the Allegan area. Let me put on rotation tracker in that region. And yeah, we're seeing a little bit of a circulation there, just west of the Allegan area, kind of towards 112th Avenue area, near 42nd Street is where we're seeing this potential weaker circulation that could be providing our concern for a tornado possible tag. Taking a look further south, let me check that out near Decatur. Give me just a second. I think that is more likely just noise. Okay. A little bit concerning there, but that was just noise for the most part. And a lot of what we're seeing here seems to be straight line winds to me at this point. But we'll be watching eastern portions of Van Buren County as well. If you're in the Bloomingdale, Pine Grove, and Paw Paw and Decatur areas, is where we're showing the best potential for damaging winds at this point. And now we're moving into the Almena and Lawton areas and Matawan over the next few minutes. And this is going to be a heads up for Kalamazoo County as well. A severe thunderstorm warning may become necessary as these storms continue to move off to the east and northeast. I will say we'll go further north. If you're in the Coopersville, Wolf Lake, and Sullivan areas, also Walker, these storms are not severe. Take a look at velocity. We're still seeing signs of maybe some gusty winds near the Jamestown, Hudsonville, near the Grand Valley State University area in Allendale, and also Coopersville up towards Sullivan, Ravenna, and Moreland. We're seeing some signs of some gusty winds still. These don't necessarily look severe at this point. And then also same holds true further to the east. These storms have weakened quite a bit as they head towards the US 127 corridor. We are watching some outflow that could be producing some gusty winds in the Greenville, Stanton, the McBride, and Edmore areas. That'll be moving off to the east. So heads up for Montcalm County, maybe northern Ionia County as well. You could be seeing some gusty winds from outflow. Our primary focus at this point continues to be our tornado warning. If you're in the Edwardsburg area especially, they have dropped southeastern Berrien County from the tornado warnings. If you're in the Niles, Bertrand, and Buchanan areas, you are all clear from the tornado warning. You can come out of your shelters. You should still remain inside. You're still under a severe thunderstorm warning. But I will say the strongest part of this storm has passed off to your east. But still remain inside with lightning in the area. I am getting a little bit more concerned about areas, especially just northwest of Cassopolis. Again, we're seeing that little kink in the line near the Cassopolis area, near LaGrange. Southeast of the Dowagiac area, we're seeing this kink in the line. And that is what we watch for when we look for brief spin-up tornado potential. We are still showing some rotation in this area as well. It's not a definitively tight circulation. I'm not seeing anything on our debris tracker. Let me put on our rotation tracker real quick. And okay, I'm not seeing a super definitive signal. But as the course of least regret, if you are near the Cassopolis area, just with that kink in the line we are watching, I would at least be ready to seek your tornado shelter precautions. At this point, I am thinking more straight line winds, but we'll continue to keep an eye on this as this moves off to the east and northeast. We'll go ahead and do a storm track on it. Actually, give me just 1 second to get that set up. This is going to be from our potential rotation. No active tornado warning on it, but just something we are continuing to watch. Around 50 miles an hour. Take it into the Volhynia area in the next 11 minutes. Same goes for Penn. The Marcellus area in the next 19 minutes. And eventually Flowerfield in the next half an hour. Is where we are watching our potential circulation. I will say it has lost the definition that it had just a few minutes ago, but we're still watching a little bit of that signature near the Cassopolis area. Some good news for the tornado warning in southwestern Cass County. They are going to allow it to expire. The storms which prompted the warning have moved out of the area, therefore the warning will be allowed to expire. A tornado watch does remain in effect till 3 a.m. for north central Indiana and southwestern Michigan. To report severe weather, contact your nearest law enforcement agency. They will relay your report to the National Weather Service in northern Indiana. Speaking of storm reports, if you have storm reports such as wind damage or wind gusts or something of that nature to report to us, please do feel free to report it to us. We are very interested in those reports. Let me reanimate that, get our severe thunderstorm warning back. But again, I would ask that if you're ahead of these storms, don't put yourself in danger to get a storm report to us. I would rather see a damage report after the fact. But again, if you do have storm reports, you can let us know in chat. I am watching chat. I did get that working again after a little glitch a little bit earlier, but I am watching chat. Let us know there. Let us know what you're seeing. You can also tag us on our social media pages or go to our website at www.westmichiganweather.net. We do have a place where you can submit those storm reports to us as well. But let us know what you're seeing as long as you do so safely. If you're in Allegan, you go to our northern severe thunderstorm warning. I will say these storms are starting to not look as impressive as they were earlier. Let me go to the storm relative on this, though. Still monitoring our signs of weaker rotation. I'm not seeing a definitive tornado signal at this point. In fact, let me put on rotation tracker. That is usually a good. Maybe a little bit of weak rotation over the Allegan area. I'm not seeing a definitive tornado signal with this, and a lot of this further to the south in Van Buren County. Again, that is more of a shear line to me, which tells me we're looking more at damaging straight line wind potential in areas like Paw Paw, Lawton. It's going to be picking up Pine Grove, the Almena area. It'll be heading into the Matawan area in the next few minutes as well. And this is also going to be a heads up for Kalamazoo County. A warning may eventually be required as this continues to move off to the east. If in the western Kent County, if you're near the Walker, Wyoming area, Kentwood, Cutlerville, heading into the Grand Rapids area, we are seeing a signal. This is not severe at this point. We are seeing a signal for around 40 mile per hour winds. In fact, is that a new special weather statement that just came in? Seeing a new special weather statement. Let me see what that's about. Give me just 1 second. Oh, I see now. It's for Northern Indiana. Okay. Just saw a message in chat about a new special weather statement, so I had to check that. But it's for Northern Indiana. But again, a lot of what I'm seeing here is mainly straight line wind potential up to 60 miles per hour. Further to the north in Allegan and Van Buren counties. Again, we do continue with a severe thunderstorm warning for the next 15 minutes for 60 mile per hour wind gusts. It does also have the tornado possible tag. And again, what I was saying before that, further to the north, especially in Kent County, we are starting to see some signs of maybe 40 mile an hour wind gusts. I would not be surprised to see a special weather statement come out here shortly for Kent County. This is going to be for your wind gusts near the Wyoming, Walker, and Kentwood areas. We'll be heading into the downtown Grand Rapids area over the next few minutes. Yeah, this is not severe, but just some strong winds potentially heading in over the next couple of minutes. And take a look at reflectivity. Again, just some general heavy rainfall and some frequent lightning with these storms as well. These storms are currently not severe. Our severe storms will really continue to be south of I-96, where we have severe thunderstorm warnings with tornado possible tags on them for Allegan, Van Buren, the eastern portion of Van Buren County, and also Cass and western portions of St. Joseph counties. We do have severe thunderstorm warnings that continue for the next 15 minutes, 2.5 hours for 60 mile per hour wind gusts. Although we will still be continuing to watch the brief spin-up tornado potential for the next little bit. Take a look at Northern Indiana radar. We are seeing a little bit of broad rotation, again, near the Cassopolis area, near Penn. This is not a very strong tornadic signature to me, but just maybe a little bit of signs of brief rotation. A lot of what I'm seeing here is more of a shear line, though, which would be more indicative of damaging straight line wind potential more than a tornado potential, but that's something we'll be continuing to watch as well, just in case. Just with the plenty of low level shear overhead, we just have to watch for the next little bit at least for the potential of a spin up tornado. Again, I'm not seeing any imminent signs of that, but we'll be continuing to watch that over the next little while. If you just happen to be joining us here, I am Jacob Melton, live here of West Michigan Weather. We are continuing severe weather coverage tonight of a line of showers and thunderstorms continuing to make their way across West Michigan. I will say they are on a general they are beginning to get on a general weakening trend, but still could be producing the potential for damaging straight line winds and a low potential of a brief spin up tornado. We did have a tornado warning earlier for portions of Berrien and Cass counties for that brief spin-up tornado potential. That has been the only tornado warning so far this evening. We do, on these severe thunderstorm warnings that are ongoing for the next 15 minutes to a half hour or so, we do continue with a tornado possible tag on it, and which means that we're watching some signs of weak rotation in there. It could spin up and produce a brief tornado. Again, this is not the environment where we're looking for strong tornadoes like what happened to our west today. We're not looking at that type of situation here. It's going to be your brief spin-ups on the ground for a couple minutes and gone, just like that. That's the type of situation we're dealing here as this line of thunderstorms continues to lift off to the east and northeast. Again, it will be on a general weakening trend as it continues to lift off to the east and northeast. And really, I think once we get towards the US 127 corridor, and really, once you get started east of US 131, and especially towards the US 127 corridor, I really think our severe weather potentials are going to continue to dwindle quickly, as it will also continue to do so over the next little while as we lose any surface instability we had left. Taking a look behind the scenes real quickly at mesoanalysis. I'm going to take a look at that behind the scenes here real quickly. While I do that, taking a look at surface-based CAPE. We only have a little bit of CAPE on the order of 250 to maybe 500 in southwest Michigan. And once it gets northeast of there, that's going to continue to dwindle with time. And that's going to greatly continue to reduce our severe weather potential with eastward extent. In fact, I already think we are starting to trend slightly in the right direction there, especially further to the north. We're not really seeing any signs of severe weather. Again, taking a look further north at our gusty winds in Grand Rapids and Kentwood areas, heading towards East Grand Rapids. This is not severe level wind. I'm mainly seeing 30 to 40 mile an hour winds here. So some wind gusts up to 40 miles per hour might be possible. Interestingly, near the Wayland area, let me take a look at that real quick. That could be some gusty wind or maybe a little bit of rotation. Let me take a look at rotation tracker. This could be a little bit of a circulation near the Door and Wayland areas. Let me take a look at debris tracker. Nothing on debris tracker. So this could be a little bit of a circulation near the Moline and Wayland areas right around US 131 that we may need to watch for the cut for the next few minutes. This could at the very least also near the Moline area. Again, maybe in one of those weak circulations that spin up from time to time. So we'll have to watch that as well over the next couple of minutes for the potential of some spin. Heading further south, though, we're not really seeing as definitive of a rotational signature. Maybe a little bit near the Alamo area. But a lot of what I'm seeing here as we continue to head south is going to be your damaging straight line winds. Going over to our other radar, I'm not really seeing a definitive rotation signal like we were a little bit ago. So a lot of what I'm seeing here right now is damaging straight line winds. Although we are watching a couple areas in northeastern Allegan County that may be rotating a little bit, like near the Moline area and also northwest of Wayland. There's no warnings on this yet. We don't have severe thunderstorm or tornado warnings up here yet. But just kind of keeping an eye on it over the next few minutes, just in case. Take a look at our rotation tracker. We're just seeing a little bit elevated signal. It could be noise too as we get closer to the radar. But just seeing that kind of signal kind of has my eye. We'll know more here in the next scan or two. More of a definitive situation. But if you're near the Corinth, Moline areas, Corning, heading towards the Ross, Carlisle, Byron, east of the Byron Center area, heading towards Gaines. The Gaines near the Briarwood Golf Club is where I'm kind of watching this rotation, over towards Cutlerville. We're just watching maybe some signs of a little bit of rotation, at least within the next. Okay, the newest scan has it east of Moline now. Heading towards 100 Division Street and 146th Avenue, just east of there, near Galloway Landings Airport, near 7th Street and 145th Avenue, near Huckleberry Lake and Indian Lake Iden Lake, I should say. I think that is. Okay. And it looks like we got a new special weather. They're opting to go special weather statement. Rather than a severe thunderstorm warning, they are going special weather statement for Barry and Kalamazoo counties. This is going to be for the potential 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So they are opting to go, instead of a severe thunderstorm warning, they are going to go 40-mile-per-hour wind special weather statement for really the southern two-thirds of Hastings County, near and south of the Hastings area. Heather is asking, sorry, I'm just asking about the Belmont area. It just started getting a bit bad here. Do I need to take cover? Sorry if that sounds dorky. Don't worry about it sounding dorky, Heather. And if you're in Belmont, we're not really as concerned about severe weather up here. This is mainly just heavy rainfall, maybe some gusty winds to around 40 miles per hour and some frequent ground lightning. But I'm not really as concerned about severe weather up here in especially as you get into northern Kent County. Our main area of concern has been south of I-96. We are watching this a little bit, again, of rotation just near the Allegan and Kent County line, near the Moline and Corning areas. Take a look at debris tracker. I'm not seeing anything on debris tracker yet, so hopefully that remains the case. Lee, the worst of it has really, I will say the gust front has already passed the Allegan area. So any tornado potential would have been east to your, would be to your east, Lee. What about Gobles and Plainwell? The Plainwell area, you're next in line for this, and as for the Gobles area, so Plainwell, it's heading on your doorstep right now. In Van Buren County, okay. No. As for the Gobles area, again, so if you're in Plainwell especially, it's heading on your doorstep right now. In your Pine Grove, okay. Yeah, Gobles had already passed the strongest part of this storm. And then it's going to be heading towards the Plainwell here in the next couple of minutes. So hopefully that helps you out there, Cry. Heather, you're very welcome. So not really, again, you're not too concerned about severe weather up there in northern Kent County. Again, taking a look at our maybe circulation near the Kent and Allegan County lines, near the Briarwood Golf Club. I will say it's looking a little bit broader again. Take a look at rotation tracker. Still a little bit of a signal there. We are also getting closer to the radar though, so that can kind of make it a little more tricky to determine for sure. But yeah, we're just watching. Most likely gusty wind to me. I'm not really seeing anything of my other products to determine a tornado, but just something we were watching for a few minutes there. Heading further south, we still have our severe thunderstorm warning for portions of Cass and western St. Joseph County. Our line of storms here is passing the Cassopolis area, heading into Marcellus over the next few minutes. Towards the Fabius area, Flowerfield, into the Three Rivers, Constantine, and White Pigeon area. Our concern here continues to be 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. We are maintaining the tornado possible tag. I'll take a look at velocity, and I will say, other than maybe near the Marcellus area, maybe some weak rotation, I'm not really seeing a definitive tornado signature necessarily with this. I'll put a rotation tracker back up. A lot of what I'm seeing here is a shear line, which would be your damaging straight line wind potential. That's tracking through Marcellus right now, heading towards the Fabius area, the Mottville area over the next few minutes. And again, we'll be watching this as well. over the next several minutes. Main concern here continues to be gusty to damaging winds over the next several minutes. Again, if you are in Barry and Kalamazoo counties, rather than a severe thunderstorm warning, they are going with a special weather statement for the potential for wind gusts up to 40 miles per hour. As expected, as this line continues to push off to the east, it is continuing to weaken as generally expected. And really, once you get north of I-96, we haven't been really too concerned about much other than maybe some heavy rainfall and gusty winds, some briefly gusty winds and frequent lightning. We're not really concerned about a severe weather threat up this way. So, yeah, not much in the way of concern up here. Our concern's really been south of I-96. Let me investigate that signal near the Plainwell area. Our radar's detecting maybe some rotation there near the Plainwell area. Let me take a look at that. Maybe a little bit of weak rotation near the Plainwell area. Lee is saying it's now hitting Plainwell pretty hard. Yep, we're watching that. Take a look at our debris tracker. Zoom in on that. Could be a little bit of a, not really a definitive signal there, but just seeing a little tiny bit of a dropout. They are going to let the severe thunderstorm warning expire for Allegan and Van Buren counties. That is being allowed to expire, but we're going to stick around just for a couple more minutes regardless, just with this questionable signature near the Plainwell area. Near M89, near 106th Avenue, we're just seeing a little bit of broad rotation. Could be enhancing the winds, or could, just again, with the shear in place, we're just kind of watching these things for the potential of a brief spin up. I'm not really thinking that's necessarily the case here, but we'll be watching that over the next couple of minutes. And then we also continue with our severe thunderstorm warning further to the south across portions of really along the Cass and St. Joseph County lines right now is where the strongest part of this line of storms continue to track into the Fabius area, into Mottville, through Marcellus, and it's heading into the Three Rivers, Constantine, and White Pigeon areas and Flower Field community there over the next couple minutes as well. We should be getting a new scan here in the next few minutes in regards to Plainwell. That will give you a little more details as to what's going on. Casey says thunder is starting. Thank you for that. Let us know what's going on down there. Plainwell. Again, I'm not kind of waiting for the next scan to give me a little bit more of a clue of what's going on up here. Just takes a few minutes for these scans to come around from the National Weather Service radar up here in Kent County. So bear with me just for a little bit here as that begins to come around. Alright, so where we're watching is near and northeast of the Plainwell area. We should get a new velocity scan here momentarily. Lee says, hoping for the best. We don't need any more bad weather. I could definitely understand that, especially after the events of Tuesday night. This event tonight is not near what we were looking at on Tuesday night. Nowhere near as widespread. Just kind of a few areas of concern, especially in southwest Michigan. However, this is not going to be the situation that we were looking at on Tuesday night. This is more likely going to be your gusty winds. And we may have had the potential of a brief spit-up tornado or two, but this is not the setup that we were looking at on Tuesday night. So again, taking a look at this looks like maybe some broad rotation east of Plainwell now towards the Hooper, Neely, and Doster areas near Marsh and Pierce Road. Not a super concerning signature, I don't think. I don't see really anything that rings my alarm bells too extreme here, but we'll be watching that over the next couple of minutes as well. If you are in Kent County, near the GR Ford International Airport, we are seeing some elevated velocity signals here, maybe 40 to 50 mile an hour velocities being indicated here near the GR Ford International Airport. We're seeing some elevated velocities being indicated here. This may require at least a special weather statement as this moves off to the east. Not really severe level or anything like that necessarily, but just something we are watching. The potential for 50 mile an hour winds near the GR Ford International Airport area. Just with that type of radar indication, 40 to 50 mile an hour wind seems reasonable. Go back to our reflectivity, and again, our line of thunderstorms is starting to wind down as it comes through the US 131 corridor. This was as generally expected, and we expect that to continue with eastward extent. And by the time it reaches the US 127 corridor, I really do not think we're going to be looking at too much of a deal. So again, our southern severe thunderstorm warning is beginning to move out of Cass County now, the strongest part of this storm. It is primarily moving into St. Joseph County. The Fabius area, you're likely in the thick of it right now. Constantine and White Pigeon, if you're not entering the thick of it right now, you will be in the next few minutes. Same goes for Three Rivers. We will have to see what the Weather Service in northern Indiana decides to do in regards to this warning here in the next couple of minutes. Taking a look at some of our products here, velocity, maybe a little bit of a okay, new scan comes in. I'm watching this area near Howardsville, towards Moore Park, Pine Ridge, just south of Flower Field. We are watching this area for what could be a little bit of rotation. Let me go to the debris tracker. I will say that does not match up with the higher reflectivity. So just checking that out, does not match out. Casey, down in Constantine, a lot of what I'm seeing for the most part is straight line wind potential. I was watching one area just to the north there, towards Howardsville, just northwest of Three Rivers there. Not an off-the-wall tornadic signature, but just something we kind of look for in these lines. But not seeing anything extreme to me at this point. A lot of what I'm seeing here at this point really is gusty winds as this line continues to move east. Taking a look at our signal near the Grand Rapids Airport, near the radar, right along I-96 there. Again, mainly 40 mile an hour winds, maybe up to 50 max. And same goes further to the south, really, in Barry and Kalamazoo counties. A lot of what I'm seeing here is 40, maybe 50 mile an hour winds. Yeah, we're not seeing really a extremely concerning imminent tornado threat with this at this point, but we are still watching these little kinks in the line that develop just in case over the next little bit. So again, if you're just joining us here, it is just after 1:30 in the morning. We are continuing to watch some strong to severe thunderstorms associated with a weakening line of thunderstorms moving across West Michigan this evening. There is a new special weather statement coming in now. This is going to be for southeastern Kent and southern Ionia counties. This is going to be for winds up to 50 miles per hour. That is what we were just looking at moments ago. With the velocity indications near the Grand Rapids Airport, the 50 mile an hour assessment makes sense. Again, this is not severe wind, just a step below that, but potential for 50 mile an hour winds across southeastern Kent in the southern Ionia counties, so areas like Saranac, Portland, Lake Odessa, Clarksville, over towards the Lowell area, Lowell Charter Township, Virginius Township area, and also Clarksville as well. We'll be watching that for the next few minutes. We are also watching the potential for 40 to 50 mile an hour winds across portions of Berry and Kalamazoo counties. And also, we still have our severe thunderstorm warning for portions of Cass and St. Joseph counties, especially the western portion of St. Joseph County. We are kind of awaiting to see what the National Weather Service in northern Indiana decides to do, as this line is getting ready to move out of the warning area. So we'll have to see what the Weather Service decides to do here over the next few minutes. If you're in Three Rivers, it's starting to pick up. Constantine, White Pigeon, it's beginning to pick up. A lot of what I'm seeing here is mainly gusty winds at this point. Not really seeing a definitive tornadic signature. Heading further south, our area we were watching, further north I should say, near the Plainwell area is becoming a little less concerning now. A lot of what I'm seeing here is gusty winds. We're seeing maybe a little area of spin near the Gun Lake area, north of Orangeville. Maybe seeing a little bit of spin, but I'm not really super concerned about it at this point. We'll keep watching it over the next few minutes, but then again, further to the north, what we're mainly seeing here is the potential for gusty winds up to 50 miles per hour. And even further to the north, up towards Cedar Springs, up towards Sand Lake, up towards Howard City. A lot of what I'm seeing, I'm not really seeing anything too concerning here either. This is mainly just a band of rain at this point. Maybe some gusty winds. Excuse me. But not really seeing any concerns for severe weather up here. Casey saying it just got here. Thank you for that, Casey. Again, a lot of what I'm seeing here is mainly just gusty winds. I'm not seeing really any tornado potential. We do see a little kink in the line just north of the Three Rivers area. Taking a look at that, I don't really see anything too definitive just yet, but it is something we'll be watching over the next few minutes. I am curious to see what the Weather Service out of northern Indiana is going to do here over the next couple of minutes regarding the severe warning. That expires in the next 4 minutes. I have not seen any updates come in yet, so just kind of awaiting that behind the scenes. Take a look behind the scenes at the consumers outage map. I am seeing a few outages, at least on consumers. Some of these, though, could be from, to verify these, some of these could be from, a lot of what I'm seeing here is from tonight, though, so. Just a few outages across portions of Allegan into Berry County. Into Van Buren and Kalamazoo counties as well due to the wind. Nothing particularly widespread, just your few pockets of localized outages there. It looks like northern Indiana is going to go with a special weather statement. This is going to be for St. Joseph and Branch counties, western portions of Branch County, along with most of St. Joseph County. They have opted to go with a special weather statement. This is going to be for the potential of a 40 mile an hour wind gust, so that's a decent step below the 60 mile an hour winds we were seeing with the severe thunderstorm warnings, which suggests a continued trend that as these storms continue to move off to the east, they're going to continue a weakening trend as it's starting to outrun the already limited instability It's going to be definitely, we're definitely continuing to expect that these storms continue to weaken with eastward extent. And as by the time they really get to the US 127 corridor, we're not really looking at too much of a deal. And it looks like they're going to let our severe thunderstorm warning expire for Cass and St. Joseph counties. They are allowing that warning to expire. The storms which prompted the warning have weakened below severe limits and have exited the warned area. Therefore, the warning will be allowed to expire. A tornado watch does remain in effect until 3 a.m. for north central Indiana and southwestern Michigan. So again, our line of storms continues to weaken. And within the next couple minutes, we're not going to have any active severe thunderstorm warnings. Casey's saying heavy wind and heavy rain for sure. Thanks for all your help. Glad to help out, Casey. Just doing our best here to keep you guys informed of the situation here. And again, I do think we are going to continue to be on a downward trend with our severe weather threat as we head throughout the rest of the night. We are approaching 1:45 a.m. in the morning, and as we allow our warnings to expire, I am going to go give one general final overview of the situation. Maybe give a couple minutes to make sure warnings don't sneak back up. Just with some of the indications we've been seeing, just want to be a little bit careful for the next few minutes. But I do think probably by 2 o'clock, assuming no warnings come in, I'll be able to ramp down coverage for the night. So again, as our severe thunderstorm warnings continue to expire now at 1:45 a.m., we just have special weather statements to deal with at this point for this weakening line of showers and thunderstorms as they continue to move off to the east and northeast. We'll go north to south with this. Our special weather statement for Kent and Ionia counties continues for the next 45 minutes for the potential of 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Taking a look at velocities, our best signal for wind right now, it's going to be in the Virginis Township up to around the Alton area, Parnell, Fowlsburg area, through Lowell, down towards around the Alto area and Bound Center, Harris Creek. That's going to be heading towards the Elmdale community, Clarksville, Campbell Corners, and Lake Odessa. Also Saranac, Berlin Center, Tremaine Corners, West Sebawa, the Collins community, Portland, Frost Corners, the Sebawa Corners area, also near the Portland State Game area. This is going to be for the potential 40 to 50 mile an hour winds. We also continue with 40 to 50 mile an hour winds, although we do see what could be a little bit of a weaker circulation near the Berry State Game area, south of the Irving area, west of Hastings. Take a look at the Bree tracker on that. Okay, that's a little bit curious there. Near the Berry State Game area. It's a little bit curious there. We'll have to keep an eye on that. That could be a very, very weak spin up. But again, just keep an eye on that. Right along M179 there near the Berry State Game area. We are seeing a little bit of a rotation there. And a little bit of a questionable signal on the Bree tracker. This not a screaming signal of a tornado, but just a little bit of rotation there we are watching. Further to the south in the Kalamazoo County, a lot of what we're seeing here is just straight line wind at this point. Not really seeing an imminent tornado potential. And further to the south into the rest of St. Joseph County, into Western Branch County, a lot of what I'm seeing here at this point is, again, straight line wind signals with gusts up to 40 miles per hour possible. So I am going to stick around just for a little bit longer, just with that signal we just saw in Berry County. I'm just going to stick around for a couple more minutes, make sure we don't get a surprise warning, either a severe thunderstorm or tornado warning with that. Just with that kind of signal, I just want to kind of hold it here for a couple of minutes, just in case. Again, it's not an impressive signal by any means. Not the most impressive signal I have ever seen, but just with So when we see stuff like that, we just want to kind of watch it, make sure it don't escalate into anything further. Again, that is a relatively weak signal, though. That's not, even if it is spinning, that's not going to be anything of significant consequence, I don't think. Maybe an area of an enhanced wind. Take a look at our newest reflectivity scan. We still have that little kink in the line. Just east of the Irving area, right along M37 near State, and along State Road near the Thornapple River is where I'm seeing that. Wait for our latest velocity scan to come in over the next, hopefully 30 seconds or so. I'll kind of determine what's going on here. And again, still a relatively weak signal. I'm not extremely impressed by that. So again, maybe another brief weak rotation southwest of Hastings, right along M43 there near Lawn Lake. Another one of those little rotations that can maybe get winds a little bit more gusty, but nothing super impressive, like nothing screaming a tornado on the ground to me or anything like that. That signal up there is not looking as impressive. And our line is really just on a general weakening trend, as we generally expected as these storms continue to push off to the east. We just do not have the surface instability to really support a bigger threat here. And I expect that trend to continue with eastward extent. So as these storms head towards the 127 corridor, again, we expect them to continue to weaken. You may see some gusty winds. You may see some thunder and lightning and some heavier rainfall. But I do think our severe weather threat is beginning to wrap up for the evening. We'll still be here watching things behind the scenes for the next little bit, just in case things do ramp back up. If we do get new severe warnings, of course, we'll be back here covering it nonstop until the danger has passed. Savage on YouTube is saying, thanks for everything you do. Happy to help here. Keep you guys informed on the weather, especially when the weather's at its worst. When the weather misbehaves a little bit, that's what we're here for, to help guide you guys through the storms. So again, one last recap here at 1:50 a.m. before I decide to. I think I said we'll give it till 2, so we'll give it till 2 before I wrap up coverage. So again, if you're north of I-96, there's really not all that much to be concerned about. Areas like Belding, Greenville, Howard City, up through Stanwood, Morley, and Big Rapids, there's really not much to be concerned about here. A lot of what I'm seeing is just heavy rainfall with some rumbles of thunder. I cannot maybe rule out some gustier winds, maybe 30, 40 miles an hour max. But even that, I haven't seen too many reports of that either. So, again, as that trend continues, if you're along and south of I-96, now that it's getting east of US 131, my general concern at this point is going to be strong but non-severe wind gusts around maybe 40, maybe up to 50 miles an hour for the next little bit. But as these storms continue to weaken, that will continue to go down in threat as well. Again, we're not imminently concerned about severe weather at this point. I'll zoom in one last time on that area we were watching, Berry County, and I'm not really seeing all that much to be concerned about at this point. Mainly wind. Still watching a very, very weak broad circulation near the Hastings area. I'm not imminently concerned about that. Nothing on our debris tracker or anything like that. This is mainly, a lot of what we're looking at here is just gusty winds on the order of 40 to maybe 50 miles an hour. And even that would be on a localized basis, I think. And we'll continue to downtrend over the next little bit. So if you are west of 131, your severe threat is done, completely done for the night. If you are east of 131, we will still be watching for the next little bit, but your severe threat is quickly starting to wane as well, as we're running out of our instability to support these thunderstorms. As you can see, lightning's even been starting to downtrend, which is good news. So I really think we're turning the corner here over the next little bit on our severe weather threat. Okay, tell you what, guys, since I am not seeing anything imminently concerning, I know I said I'd stick around till 2 though, so, but again, but I think I am going to wrap it up here in just a minute or so. So one final update, if you're north of US 10, not really seeing much to be concerned about, just rain with a few rumbles of thunder. Between US 10 and I-96, we're watching these storms. We're not looking to be doing much again other than rain and thunder, maybe some locally gusty winds for the next little bit. But these are continuing to weaken as well, and I'm not really seeing too much of a threat from these. If you are along and south of I-96, we will be watching a little more of a gusty wind threat for the next little bit, probably on the order of 40 to 50 mile an hour winds, but I am not really seeing much of a signal for continued severe weather. Just some winds, 40 to maybe locally 50 miles an hour, but that will continue to decrease with time as well. And that continues from south of I-96 down towards the state line. But again, at this point, with our severe threat beginning to wind down, I think I am going to go ahead. We'll go check our state lines out one last time, though, just to be sure. Yep, okay. Not really seeing a whole lot here, so okay, we're going to go ahead and start scaling back our live coverage at 1:55 a.m. on the early Saturday morning now. I'll still be here behind the scenes for the next little bit, just kind of monitoring things to make sure things don't act up one last time. But I want to say by after 2 and definitely 3 a.m., our severe threat's going to be done, I think, for the most part. As we're starting to run out of any surface instability left for these storms to work with. They're on a general weakening trend, and we expect that to continue. So again, thank you for those of you that have stuck with us throughout the night here. And again, stay with us here at West Michigan Weather. We'll keep you advised of any potential weather danger as they come to fruition.